Hi everyone, I'm Morgan Parfitt-David, the creator of Predictive Football. In this video, I'll introduce you to our assessment report. Alright, so this is what an assessment report looks like. So on the first page, we'll give you the raw scores for your player for every one of the skills that have been assessed. So raw score for your player in the table here on top, and a comparison to the average scores that players of the same category obtained, and average scores for all the players of our database. All right, and you can visualize that easily on the left side of the page with that graph that gives you the same type of information, basically. Raw scores for your player and the other players of our database, players of the same age category. On the right side of the first page, we'll give you some advice for improvements for each psychological and cognitive skills. We'll tell you whether that skills for your players needs to be improved, or whether it has to be monitored because it's average, or whether it's all good. That means that your player has good scores on that skill in particular. All right, so that's the first page. On the second page, we'll give you another type of information. So we'll give you the relative position of your player within our player's database here on the left side. So for instance, you take the first skill, reaction towards problem. Your player obtains 77.2%. That means that 77% of the players of our database have a score that's lower than your players. So he's in top 25% of our database. But if you take autonomy at the bottom of the graph, your players is within the first 55%. So that means that 55% of players are better than him on that skill. Okay, so that's surely a skill that needs to be improved for this player in particular in the future. So you can visualize those data by sorting through age categories too. So for instance, you can compare your player to players of every age category, all the age categories of our database, or one age category in particular. All right. And on the right side of the report, we'll give you the likelihood that your player can make it to the top. So likelihood of professional success in future. We are basically using an algorithm, homemade algorithm, on these data, which gives us an estimate. For instance, you got the psychological skill tasteful challenge on top, and our data says that your player has 2.7 times more chances to reach professional success in future than players with lower scores. And if you look at reactions towards problems, your player has 2.9 times less chances to reach professional success in the future. So that surely is a skill to be improved. And on the third page of the report, we've used a second algorithm to analyze our data and provide you with a potential estimate for your player. So here on this graph on the left, you got all potential indices of the database's players. All right, so further to the right and the better the player. And here on the y-axis, you get the accumulated percentage of players, which means that the further to the top of the graph and the less players remain in the database. So basically, further to the top, further to the right, you get the best players. All right, you got the best players here. So this is where you want to see your players. And this player in particular, his potential has been assessed to be within the top 10% of all the 12 years old players, and he's within the top 23% of all the databases players, which means that there's very good potential. And finally, so the last page of the report provides guidelines about different skills that we've assessed. So it gives you an idea about what we've measured in your players, and it gives you insights about how to improve, what to improve your player skills. So this was a presentation of an assessment report by Predictive Football.